This is FY Pool Day. Created by Squall in 2001, the map made headway in the custom map scene for classic Counter-Strike. It took the game over by storm and became a mainstay in servers for over 2 decades and counting. And in case you've forgotten the layout of this classic map, I'd like to have a special guest explain it to you. I've been looking forward to this collaboration for quite some time, so I hope you enjoy.
Pool Day, a classic in the fight yard genre. The layout seems pretty basic at first, but what sets it apart from other FY maps is its quirks. Both spawns appear the same, just mirrored with a pool in the middle, but on the sides, one is a shower area with spammable walls, while the other is a jacuzzi, great for instantly rushing into the spawns. Another bizarre quirk are the weapons on the ground, which have the most random placement of any FY map I've ever seen. Even though this is an FY map, T's spawn with the bomb, which can be planted right on the diving board of the pool. This board also has a small buy zone, which if used, I know a lot of people would call it cheating, but I wouldn't. Finally, the bottom of the pool is full of grenades, great for giving you an advantage next round, cause you can chuck these anywhere due to the openness of the map. And that's what's great about Pool Day. The small size, combined with the lack of symmetry and how open it is, makes the gameplay really fast-paced, unpredictable, and fun. While camping may not be an option on this map, technically the doors to the toilets can be opened, since hiding there can either earn you a cheeky frag, or it can easily turn into a death trap with how paper-thin the doors are. Anyway, FY Pool Day is a historic custom CS map that undoubtedly provided lots of fun times and unforgettable memories for so many players.
Thank you, DeZolance, for the layout explanation, and feel free to stop by their channel for similar content covering the game. They have lots of content explaining the intricate details of early Counter-Strike. The channel is a nostalgic goldmine, which I highly recommend. So there's the gist of Pool Day, but what made it special for this era was that a lot of FY maps were pretty bland looking. All we had at that point was CS Bloodstrike and FY Ice World, and neither of those levels had personality like Squall's Pool Day. Notably, this map consists mostly of custom textures. It's clean with all that pristine tile. In comparison to the arena-style maps I stated before, Pool Day had a professional edge to it. It had detail. I personally like the touch of colored pool water reflections on the walls. It's homey feeling and inspires a sense of liminality. The level is peppered with realistic objects like the lockers and toilets. Let's take a moment to admire these. Today, most game assets are made with a modeling program, but back during this map's creation, the level editor allowed people to make game assets with it. The basic blocks that make up walls and floors could be shrunk down to create more detailed objects, which makes these urinals pretty exciting to look at. Didn't think I'd ever say that in a lifetime, but each piece of this urinal is an individual block, positioned to make it what it is. No 3D modeling needed. Also, did you know that these urinals are usable? Pretty neat, huh? Even the toilets and the stalls are masterpieces. Could use a plumber though. The blockwork, or brushwork as mappers call it, makes the map feel lived in and relatable. It looks like a place you may have visited as a kid, and Squall himself notes that was the original inspiration behind the level. What really brings the aesthetic of the level together though is the rule set. I especially like rule number 3, which has its own dedicated placard in the main area. This artwork is excellent, every pool hall should have one. I'd even hang that up in my house. But I haven't shown you the most interesting part of the level, which is out of bounds. Out here we can see that the entirety of the map is hovering over a big gray platform. It's a very liminal area. I always wish this was accessible normally and we could fight down here. You can get a good look at the exterior of the map and how all these different textures meld together and hold everything into place. One other weird thing about the map is the lighting. Squall, if you're watching this, I wonder after all these years how you feel about this light. It's clearly intersecting the wall. None of the other lights do this. I bet no one noticed this until now. I know I didn't, but it's just an interesting detail. You may remember some of the sequels and spin-offs that were released later, like FY Subscribe. It's not a Pool Day remake, I just made this so you subscribe to us. Okay, thank you. Pool Party, also released by Squall, is even bigger. It expands on the original with an underground section. It's much more detailed and has a few quirks, like the grenade distributing vending machine. And this locker that gives you a bunch of weapons. A boombox makes its appearance. and the addition of a slide that pushes you. Even the placard makes a return. The tile textures got revamped and overall it looks well polished, but sadly Pool Party never caught on like the original. In addition to Pool Party, He Pool Night was released. It's the classic pool day, but with He grenades only, and it's nighttime. Funny enough, the light is still stuck on the wall in this version. These two never achieved the same level of popularity that the original Pool Day had, but the map's influence didn't stop. There were lots of spin-offs that Squall didn't make. FY Pool Day 2, 3, and 4 were probably ones you've played. The textures are noticeably different, and it's a lot bigger. It also had these unique tunnel entries that connected underground. FY New Pool Day has become a de facto gun game map in lots of South American servers these days. It's the classic feel of Pool Day, but with 2 stories of fighting and more nooks and crannies. FY Pool Suite has to be one of the better spin-offs, as it feels like the classic, but with more character than the other remixes. It's lit very nicely and has these vent shafts you can crawl through. Wonder what's through here. Oh. There's so many more versions, but the point is people love the original enough to make their own. So much so that the map can be found on all different versions of the game. There's Condition 0 versions, Source versions, and even Go versions. The map came out so early in the CS timeline it became burned into the souls of every CS player. I mentioned a Source version earlier, and in a sad turn of events concerning authorship control, a user named Skyforce released their own version of FY Pool Day for Counter-Strike Source with the exact same title. This deprived Squall of the opportunity to release his own version of the map under its classic, original name for Source. Sheds a light on the intellectual property disputes that often arose within Valve games and their third-party creators. Since Skyforce's version was already in circulation by the time Squall was ready for his release, introducing Squall's version with the same title would have caused conflicts in players' game data files, leading to disconnects from servers. Squall had no choice but to release his version under the name FY Pool Day Reunion. Unfortunate it unfolded that way, but it's important to note that these older maps were not monetized, so these things happened with little legal ramifications. Regardless, the Skyforce map is a wonderful ode to Squall's original, and Squall came out with Reunion, which has some beautiful eye candy. The glow of the pool lights make the map shine, and a major highlight is the sauna. The woody interior is a great vibe. Wish I could be there. Although Reunion wasn't a true remake of the original, it's still an incredible piece of work considering it was released by the original designer, Squall. Pool Day was released during an interesting time in CS's history. The game was still trying to figure out what it wanted to be in 2001, and fight yard style maps were a fun deviation from the status quo, that being a round-based shooter full of long wait times and chess-like strategy. FY maps like Pool Day filled a niche for CS players who didn't want the serious gameplay of hostage rescue and bomb defusal maps. Many folks just wanted to pick up modern-style weaponry and cathartically destroy one another in a decent-looking setting. Without a map like FY Pool Day quenching that thirst, the game would have likely lost the attention of a good group of players. It's safe to say that when Squall's Pool Day was released, it set an entirely new standard for FY-style maps. Iceworld looked ancient in comparison. Story's the same for CS Bloodstrike. Pool Day was new, inventive, and exciting, and when it comes to the pantheon of legendary custom maps for the game, FY Pool Day is king for that reason. It'll always be in the top 10 list of memorable creations for the game. Please subscribe and check out DeZolance's channel for more content. Until then, I'll see you at the pool.